Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Alright, last week I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy. That's going to be one of the things I'm going to be talking about in the Victor Rant segment for this week. But the question I want to ask you is, out of all the songs that were featured in the movie Guardians of the Galaxy, which one was not featured in it? Was it A, Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, B, Vehicle by Ides of March, or C, Cherry Bomb by the Runaways? I'll let you know the answer a little later on. But for right now, let the ranting begin.
What you talking about, Willis?
I promise the first thing I'm going to talk about is Guardians of the Galaxy. I went to see it last weekend and it was amazing. Some of the songs that came out that were played throughout it were any songs that might have come out anywhere from either the late 50s, early 60s, all the way to the year 1989, because that's when the movie first started 1989. But I'm not going to give anything else away. It was a great movie, great cast. The script it was almost like reading an issue of Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm going to let you in on something. Now, if you've seen some of the scenes, now the main villain was actually Ronan the Accuser, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But also Thanos was in it, and Thanos actually talked in this one, and he was voiced by Josh Brolin. Okay, but anyway, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to go out and see it. You won't be disappointed. It is great. But if you've seen it and you thought it was awful, then you really need to rethink the way you live your life, because you are sadly mistaken. All right, next thing I want to talk about is football season. It's finally come upon us. The first preseason game was played this past weekend. The New York Giants took on the Buffalo Bills, and the Giants won. And my team, the New Orleans Saints, they play their first game tomorrow night against the St. Louis Rams. And the Dallas Cowboys, who happen to be the favorite team of a lot of folks I know, they're playing the San Diego Chargers right now as we speak. And I mean, it's just great. Football season is finally coming around, and as far as college football season, you know who I pull for. You know, I'm a ULN. I'm a student at University of Louisiana Monroe, and the Warhawks will be taking on Wake Forest on August 28th at Fant Ewing Coliseum. It will be a nationally televised game. I'll be there, of course. And all I got to say is, maroon on, talons out. And then also high school football season. It's finally around here. Now, where I live, high school football is probably the number one. Football is the number one sport here in the Twin Cities. I may not have grown up here. I live here. This is where I go to school. This is where I go to work. But I'm originally from a small town in north central Louisiana called Homer, and I am a proud graduate of the Homer High School. And I only got 3 words to say: Go Pels, go. All right, that's all I want to talk about this week. DC versus Marvel. It's Reptile versus Beast Boy. Now, before I start this, you're probably wondering who are Beast Boy and Reptile. Okay, Beast Boy is a character that is also a member of the Teen Titans, who has the ability to shapeshift into any animal that has ever existed on Earth. And Reptile has the ability to shapeshift into any dinosaur that's ever roamed the Earth. And I paired these two up. I think this is going to be great. So, let's go!
Are you man enough, big and bad enough? Are you gonna let them shoot you down?
Welcome back to DC vs. Marvel. This week, it's Beast Boy vs. Reptile. Beast Boy has the transformational ability to morph and transform into any animal that he has seen himself or has seen in an illustration.
These transformations take only a second, and Beast Boy has demonstrated that he is capable of rapidly changing his form with little or no effort expended. As a corollary to this power, he can transform back to his default form if an external force like magic transforms him into an animal. His power enables him to completely alter his body mass, being able to take the shape of animals far larger and heavier than himself, such as an elephant, a hippopotamus, or a Tyrannosaurus rex, or smaller and lighter animals such as mice and insects. As a result of his rapidly changing genetic structure and mass, Beast Boy has an increased healing factor, allowing him to heal from bullet wounds, burns, and broken bones in a matter of seconds. Reptile wears a crystallized bone medallion that allows him to take on the abilities of different dinosaurs just by thinking about them. He initially cannot fully transform into a complete dinosaur, but can shapeshift various parts of his body into different dinosaur appendages, like a tail to strike enemies, changing his arms into pterodactyl wings, or having claws like a raptor. However, after briefly possessing the body of his future self in a fight against Korvac, he retains the ability to fully transform. He possesses the strength and ability of whatever dinosaur he is using, and his skin always turns red and scaly when he uses his abilities. Who would win? Beast Boy makes the first move by transforming into a bear, in which Reptile transforms into a raptor and claws at him. Beast Boy then transforms into a Tyrannosaurus Rex and hits Reptile with his tail. Reptile quickly transforms into Triceratops and charges at Beast Boy. Beast Boy then realizes that Reptile can only transform into various dinosaurs. He then transforms into a fly and swarms over Reptile. Reptile changes back to his original form and swats at Beast Boy. He misses, and Beast Boy then transforms into a cobra and rips Reptile's medallion away from his body. Beast Boy wins. And that concludes this week's segment of DC vs. Marvel.
Hope you enjoyed this week's segment of DC vs. Marvel. I have another one up next week. So right now, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
Up first is Superman Wonder Woman Annual Number 1. This is another chapter in the Doom story arc that's going on in the pages of Action Comics and Superman Wonder Woman. A lot of things that have happened in previous issues is that Wonder Woman, Batman, and Cyborg are trying to figure out ways of reversing the process that gave in which Superman can't reverse himself. And he also crosses paths with the Cyborg Superman. Now, let me tell you, all you people about what's going on in this book. All right, it all started when Doomsday, who had killed Superman before, he returns in a much more hulking version, a more hulkier version than the previous Doomsday, and he doesn't go out to kill Superman. Instead, he infects him with the same DNA that Doomsday has, and he ends up becoming less and less Superman and more of another Doomsday. Thus, he's being called Super Doom. He's pretty much half Kryptonian and half, Doomsday. And you're probably noticing this cover, and you're probably thinking, why in the world is Wonder Woman glowing like that? Let me explain. To tell that is pretty much to tell the difference between this Wonder Woman and the Wonder Woman in the previous DCU. The Wonder Woman in the previous DCU was born of clay and had all the abilities of all the Greek gods. This Wonder Woman, however, was not born of clay. She is actually the biological daughter of Hippolyta and Zeus. Of course, Hippolyta being her mother and also queen of the Amazons. Well, and also in the previous DC universe, Wonder Woman wore bracelets as a means of dodging bullets and lasers, and if somebody comes at her with a knife or a sword. In this previous DC universe, she uses those bracelets for the same purpose, but also, but the main reason she wears them is not to do that, but because she is the daughter of Zeus. She also possesses the all might that Zeus has, and wearing those bracelets suppresses that. Well, you can tell by this cover that she's not wearing the bracelets, and so this pretty much tells us that the gloves are off, and she can't. And she realizes there's really no other way but to kill him, but let's hope she doesn't. Up next is Action Comics Annual number 3. This picks up where Superman Wonder Woman Annual number 1 leaves off, and looks like Superman has another power, or should I say Super Doom has another power set, and looks like he is out for destruction. Alright, up next is Action Comics Annual number 34. Action Comics number 34. This picks up where Action Comics Annual number 3 leaves off. And this is a variant cover that DC is doing. This is a variant cover. DC is doing a lot of various covers. They're, celebrating the whole selfie thing, and is showing different superheroes or different characters in the DCU taking selfies of themselves. And this one is, of course, Superman taking a selfie with a cat. But as I said, this issue takes place right after Action Comics Annual number 3, and it's a continuation of the Doom story arc saga that's going on in the pages of Action Comics and Superman Wonder Woman. Alright, up next is Red Lanterns Annual number 1. This picks up where Red Lanterns number 33 leaves off. Now in Red Lanterns number 33, a lot of interesting things have happened. Guy Gardner, who is now the leader of the Red Lanterns, he ends up going to this intergalactic bar and meets up with John Stewart from the Green Lantern Corps, and pretty much enlists him to help out going up against Atrocitus. And because Atrocitus wants to regain control of the Red Lanterns, and not only that, but also killed Guy Gardner and just about everyone that's turned his back on him. And we also find out some other odd things. We also find out that Atrocitus had created 9 rings. Had created 9 new rings to go after about 9 more people to extend the membership of his side of the Red Lanterns. Right now, I'm not really liking Guy Gardner's side. It looks like it. But the only thing that Guy Gardner has to win this, or else the Red Lanterns will have control of Earth. Well, better yet, Atrocitus will have control of Earth, which might mean everybody will end up becoming a Red Lantern. I know that sounds bad. Up next is Mighty Avengers number 10. This is a tie-in to the original Sin miniseries that's going on in Marvel. And really, the original Sin story arc starts off with somebody killing Uatu, who is the Watcher. And not only that, but steals both of his eyes. Or steals one of his eyes, rather. And with this eye, with this eye, this power is shot out of that eye, and then some of the secrets that some Marvel characters have not known about, that other Marvel characters have been keeping, have finally come to light, and a lot of interesting things have happened. Like, for example, Spider-Man finds out that somebody else was bitten by the same radioactive spider that bit him. And Thor and Loki find out that they have a sister. And her name is Angela, who has previously been in the pages of Guardians of the Galaxy. But in this issue, Blue Marvel, aka Dr. Adam Brashear, ends up going to the moon for a funeral. Of course, that's the Watcher's funeral. A lot of things have gone on in the pages of Mighty Avengers. Like Dr. Brashear's long lost son, Max Brashear, ends up coming back, but he's in a very energy phase giant form, and the only way to save his life is to send him back from where he came from. Well, this doesn't really sit well with his younger son, Dr. Max Brashear, and he pretty much goes off on Blue Marvel and doesn't look good. Oh, and by the way, in the previous issue, in last week's episode, I said that we also find out who was Ronan. And you remember, if you guess correctly, it's Blade. Blade has been Ronan ever since the Mighty Avengers. At first he was Spider Hero, then he became Ronan. Now he's only the third Marvel character to take on the role of Ronan. The first was Echo, who was a character in the pages of Daredevil, and the second was Hawkeye. Okay, up next is Green Lantern number 34. This is a variant selfie cover, and in this issue we find out all of the ramifications from the Uprising story arc that crossed over with Green Lantern Corps. And in the previous issue we find in the event of Uprising, we find out that that just when the Green Lanterns had killed all the Durlans or exposed them, Fatality had Durlan had masqueraded as Fatality for a long time, and she almost kills John Stewart. But John Stewart, as much as he didn't want to do it, he ends up killing the Durlan. So no more Durlan. And in this one we find out this is pretty much the fallout from that. It's a very odd selfie cover, don't y'all think? Alright, and lastly, the Superior Spider-Man number 32. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. Didn't Superior Spider-Man end with number 31? Yes, it did. But this is a cutting room floor issue that pretty much that takes place after the events of Amazing Spider-Man number 19, where he temporarily is in another dimension. And this is also as a prelude to the Spider-Verse story arc that's coming up later on in Marvel, where different versions of Spider-Man are all brought together for this one sole purpose. And I can't wait to read this. I mean, this story arc looks awesome. Alright, that's 7 I bought, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 6,341. I love what DC has done with their books as of late. Now, when they started doing the New 52 back in 2011, I was kind of put off just like everyone else. I was kind of wondering, why did they restart everything? But as of late, they've been doing some awesome things in a lot of their books. So, yay DC. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And earlier I asked the question, which one of these 3 following songs was not featured in Guardians of the Galaxy? Was it A, Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell? B, Vehicle by Ides of March? Or C, Cherry Bomb by the Runaways? The answer is B, Vehicle by Ides of March. Although it would have been cool if it would have been there, because Vehicle was an awesome song. And but all the others, there are some other cool songs that were in there as well. And I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I hope you tune in to next week's episode number 36. I don't know if I'm going to be here. I don't know if I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. Although, okay, I know one thing I'm going to be talking about in the Victor Rant segment next week, and that's my review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And also, I'm going to be talking about the annual event here in the Twin Cities, Battle of the Badges. It's a tradition here every year. They've been doing it for the last 10 years, and I'll be attending it this weekend, so I will have my review on that as well. Okay, as always, if y'all have any suggestions, let me know. Whether you have my cell phone number, whether you're friends with me on Facebook or meet me, or if you just happen to see me somewhere, just let me know. I am not going to I'm not going to disregard you or ignore you for giving me for giving me any advice or any suggestions for the show, unless you tell me to stop doing it. Then that's only when I won't listen to you. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. We'll see you next week. And by the way, let me know what y'all think about the music cues that I've been putting in these episodes, starting with episode 34 last week. All right, see you next week. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.